Welcome to Everything Currency. It's the show where we talk about everything crypto and more. I'm your host, Jay, and today I'm with my co-host, Stacy Serrano. We got a very special uh, show for you guys today. Very special stream for you guys today. We got a special guest who's going to be coming on and talking about some dope things, hopefully giving you guys some game, having a crazy story. Stacy tells me that he has a pretty crazy story, so I'm a little excited to hear about that.
Yes. I'm super excited. This guy, I've been following him for a minute, and I love every single time that he tweets. He's tweeting either something motivational, something funny, something entertaining, and he's always giving value as well too. And then when I had a brief conversation with him and him telling me a little bit about his story, I was like, oh yeah, I cannot wait to hear more about what he has going on and what he's about. He's super cool. He's a close friend of my friend who got me into crypto. And I'm just excited. I can't wait for you guys to see and what he's about and hear his story because we got some juicy details, some juicy questions. And he's definitely going to bring in some alpha and talk about how he got into meme coins, what is he doing currently, especially with the market going on right now. And we're going from there.
Yeah, so normally on Thursdays we'll talk about meme coins. We'll go through and look at some dope meme coins for you guys to check out. Since we have a special guest today who is all about the memes, hopefully he can give us some alpha. I actually got a meme for him to check out too, and he can tell me if I'm on the right track. We'll see if I know what I'm doing when it comes to the meme coins. Let's see. He says we are live. We got
We are
officially
live.
and we got MySpace Crypto. Shout out to those guys tuning in every day, just showing that love. I appreciate that. For sure, 100%. So, real quick, let me give you guys a little bit of a Bitcoin update. We got to look at it because I talked about it in a video yesterday, and I was basically saying, like, yeah, we're doing exactly what we should be doing on this monthly chart, which is bouncing on the 13 moving average. And things can get a little bit ugly for altcoins. Things can get a little bit ugly for Solana. But over the next, long as this month, we got about 20 days left to see what's really going to happen. But right now, for the next 20 days, I will remain bullish. I will
I'm
remain.
always bullish. I tell everybody right now is the time that we are getting everything on sale. It's like Black Friday sale. We're getting the prices nice, and as soon as everything starts booming again, we're all going to be rich. That
Yeah,
simple.
it's like that accumulation time. You got to have
Right.
that accumulation time. If you don't have money to just go in all heavy, all crazy, just DCA. It makes it real easy, makes it real simple. So
Absolutely.
with that being said, let's get to the juicy part. Let's get to the special guest. I want to
Pretty.
bring him in. I'm ready to talk to this guy. So
Yes. So let's go ahead and bring him up on stage or our scene, whatever you want to call it. But by the way, guys, again, he is amazing. He has become very, very successful in memes. We want to bring him up, show him what he's all about, show him your story, and maybe give some alpha. Maybe he's gonna give us some real game that's gonna change our life. Who knows what's gonna happen on today's stream? But everybody, let's welcome in our special guest, Head Knock. Welcome, friend. How are you
hey,
doing?
welcome to the stream, Hinnock. How you doing, my boy? How's it
It is
going?
a great day to have a great day. We got Jay, we got Stacy, we got the
Let's
stream,
go.
all of
Let's
y'all.
go.
I am so excited. Thank y'all so much for having me here today.
Let's freaking go. I love the energy already. Oh my gosh. This
Yeah.
is
So
probably why you're successful, isn't
It's
it?
it's hard to put into words. What's so funny? Like growing up as a kid, the teachers would like put you in the corner. They would throw you out the class. What I got in trouble for back then. Now it's just a part of who I am, and it's a part of the winning formula. But it is a beautiful day. Regardless of what's happening on the earth, I remember what it was like to eat government cheese. I remember eating government bread. I remember Section 8. I remember 600 square feet apartments being forced outside.
facts,
And
facts,
it's so
facts.
crazy to look at life now and where we're at today. And the upside and the trajectory. So I'm having a great day. It's a great day to have a great day. And I'm so happy to be here with y'all. I hope everyone is subscribed to the channel. I hope everybody's following you guys on Twitter as well. It's going to be a great live stream.
Yeah, thank you.
It's going to be a great live stream, and that energy. One thing I was like looking at your content, looking at it, I said, this guy brings the energy for sure. You know, I'm usually like more chill and laid back, and people are like, yeah, I like your chill delivery. But then sometimes, you know, Stacy's like, you need to be more energy. And I'm like, this guy got energy right away. I could tell it's just a part of his personality. It's not like fake energy. You know, and I'm like, you don't want to get up there and be like, come on, guy, go, go. You know, it's like real energy, you know, and also, you know, you mentioned right there, like real excitement. You know, it sounds like you come from a similar background as me, where you didn't have it all growing up. Like, tell us a little bit about your background and you know, go more into that. How did it start?
Yeah, I mean, my parents immigrated from Tigray, Ethiopia, in the early 90s, and I was born in Chicago. They escaped genocide where civilians were being imprisoned, tortured. They were lighting their feet on fire. They were depriving them of sunlight for months to the point where their skin would flake. These are Africans. You're talking about rape, torture, murder, killing, destruction, pillaging, taking your wealth, taking your home. You know, it was a civil war. And so they escaped on foot, you know, and through Kenya. And they crossed the border, got into a refugee camp, spent 2 years there, and they got asylum in the US under the Clinton administration. And I was born 1 month later. And so for me to have the start in America, for my parents to have paid the price for me to be here, that's a miracle in and of itself. I'll never forget what it's like growing up here. You know, English is my second language, and learning this land with my parents, learning this country and the opportunities, and really, you know, watching them scratch and claw from absolutely nothing, taking us from the first half of my childhood in urban downtown Chicago and urban Dallas to the suburbs of Dallas at the age of 9. So the first half of my childhood, urban, minority, poor, minority culture and context. And then the last half of my childhood, the remaining 9 years thereafter, suburban, white, middle class, upper middle class, and learning the difference between these two different universes. My life could have and should have ended a long time ago, and certainly in a different direction. And so for me, having the ability to take a look at my circumstances, no matter how dark or how good or how bad things are, and being grateful and thankful for the fact that I'm no longer in that crazy continent, the fact that we're no longer in the hood, the fact that we're still here with so much upside left in life. Bro, I don't take a day for granted. I try not to take a day for granted. So it's very critical for me. So energy, bro, like I've been this way since day one. You can go back and see my YouTube videos, my tweets. Like this is just who I am. And I didn't get here, you know, I wouldn't say that I was born this way. Like I'm not naturally positive or high energy. I got diagnosed with clinical depression and anxiety in 2017. I've buried a lot of people. I have been through a lot of pain, issues, trauma. I've made money, lost money, made more money, lost it all again. Round trip, you know, ridiculous amounts of money. I have reasons, you know, to be upset, angry, frustrated, and depressed. But, you know, I've just had to develop that skill set of being disciplined with high energy, with positivity, so that no matter what I'm dealing with, like this situation cannot change who I am and where I'm headed. So yeah, I'm positive by discipline. I'm high energy by discipline.
Beautiful,
yeah,
beautiful. So
yeah.
it sounds like, you know, because your turbulence and your trauma you had in your childhood and everything that you've seen and your parents and all that, it made you feel like you needed to be successful and you needed to make this happen, not only for yourself, but for your family, for the people around you. Do you want to make everybody around proud? And I get that, because me, myself, I'm an immigrant and I come from immigrant parents. So they are always telling me, you know, be independent, work hard, get things done. And I think that's also, you know, in my terms, the same reason why I'm constantly wanting to be successful, wanting to get, you know, a better life for myself and for the people around me. So when you got in crypto, what was your first thoughts? Like, what was your first initial thoughts when you first got in crypto? Like, what did you think about it? What did you get into first? Was it meme coins? Was it NFTs? Like, what was your initials of how you saw crypto?
I came up in the Great Recession. So I graduated high school in the early 2010s. And, you know, growing up in the recession, you were taught to like cut costs, pinch your pennies, you know, and I learned the value of making money because we went through such a like traumatic time during formative years. So I knew really early on, like, okay, I got to get this money. I can't just live like an average middle class lifestyle. We got to figure this out. I was extremely fortunate in the providence of God to have this amazing opportunity at the age of 19 years old, getting hired as a mortgage loan officer on the other side of the banking crisis. So I'm just this little kid who, you know, weighs like 105 and this dweeb who was in this mortgage office learning the mortgage game all through the 2010s. And I started making six figures at a, you know, really young age. And this is during the Great Recession where six figures actually meant something, unlike now. And so I started making money, right? I started making money and I had opportunities that like other people didn't have. No degree, no experience, no nothing. And then in 2017, I'm in one of those mortgage offices 5 years into my career. This guy named Derek. And Derek is like your tinfoil guy. Like he's the guy that believes in the flat earth, you know, reptilians on the moon, and JFK was taken out by like Russia. I don't know who like the CIA. He's that guy, right? He's that guy. So every week he's always coming to me with something. And one of those days in December of 17, he comes to me. He's like, yo, hey, there's this thing called Bitcoin. I'm like, what's Bitcoin? He's like, you know, it's just this like secret society money on the internet. That's what I heard. I was like, all right, whatever. So he like literally had me come to his apartment, set up a Binance account back in 2017 when you could do that here in Texas. And, you know, bought some Bitcoin. Bro, it freaked me out. Like I had my laptop out in my living room and like, I'm watching this chart like, oh my God, 8% today. Oh my God, 4% tomorrow. Oh my God, 8% today. Up, down, up, down, up, down. So after 30 days of like 4% moves, it was so nauseating. I was like, I'm out. Like as soon as I get like break even, I was out. So I sold, I paper handed my entire duffel bag, didn't think twice about it. 3.5 years later, spring of 2021, Elon Musk gets on Saturday Night Live to talk about Dogecoin. And I was like, what is this Dogecoin? I was like, oh my God, it's crypto. And I was like, wait, is this crypto thing still around? So I'm like online looking it up. I'm like, oh my gosh, it's still around. Like this thing is still here. And it's not just here. It blew up since I left. And I was like, oh my gosh, what an absolute moron. You missed out on an amazing opportunity. And so I was like, I'm not missing it this time. So I was like, okay, everyone's buying Doge. You know what? I'm smart. I'm sharp. I'm going to be different. I'm not going to invest in what everyone else is investing in. I know I'll find the Dogecoin killer, get into that early and watch that thing run up. That was me and my genius. So I bought Shiba Inu. And the next day, that like went down 50% and I got wrecked again, thousands of dollars down the drain. It hurt. And by that point, I had started a mortgage company the year prior. We were making 6 figures a month and I thought I was an absolute genius, just cooking, right? Like I used to make this as a salary every year. Now I'm making it every month. So I thought I was a genius. And it turned out, no, you were successful because of market conditions, not because you're great. So when those market conditions began to turn in 2021, my business was completely insolvent because I didn't actually know what I was doing. I had gotten really fortunate and lucky, worked really hard in the right space, but caught the right time. But it wasn't success that I could continue and sustain. So at that point in 2021, I'm looking for something to make me money. I'm in crypto looking to try to actually make money so I could pay bills. So yeah, Shiba Inu happened. It crashed. I'm like, oh my gosh, I just burned money. I don't even have money right now. Like this is crazy. Like you went from making like all this crazy life-changing money. It all went to zero. You have nothing to show for it. You burned all of it. You're in debt. You got to figure this thing out. So I'm about to quit crypto again because the Shiba thing just didn't work. And I was like, bro, this is crazy. And I was like, you know what though? Like, there's like 20-year-old kids on MSNBC and CNN with cat ears that are talking about how they made all these millions in meme coins. And I was like, yo, if this white girl with some cat ears is out here making $1 million, ain't no way I'm making rent. So I was like, all right, I'm just going to figure this thing out. I faded last time. I paid a price. I'm not going to do that again. I'm going to figure this out. But before I deploy capital, let me pause for the cause and actually get an education before I jump in. So for the next 45 days into that summer, I'll never forget, June of 2021, I'm literally just spending time on YouTube before work. And I had to go get a job at this point. I quit my like self-employment, which I made all that bread in, had nothing to show for it. Had to go work another 9 to 5, get back into slavery, which killed me psychologically. I'm working back in mortgage again. And I'm working. So before work, after work, nighttime, weekends, during lunch breaks, crypto. So then I noticed there was a runner, particularly this token called Saitama in 2021. And it was just absolutely ripping. Yeah, third largest meme coin in meme coin history. I'll talk about that in a second. But at that point, at least. Anyway, so that started ripping and running. And I was like, dang, how did I like miss this? And I realized, okay, someone caught this coin early. So I'm going to go to YouTube, figure out, and this is back when like the locus of crypto was on YouTube. I'm going to go back and find out whoever was talking about Saitama early, that's a person to follow. I can get in with them. We'll make this bread. So I found a guy. I actually found a guy who was talking about it weeks before it ran up. And I got into his Telegram group for $10 a month. And I just started getting around all these incredible traders and began to get an education. And one thing led to another. I started making money that was helping me pay for bills at the tail end of a bull run. So my crypto journey began with Bitcoin, me fading Bitcoin, and then the necessity of having to pay bills because I'm financially struggling after making money, lost it all. I'm into memes because I need those gains. I turned $100 into $300 July of 2021. That completely changed my life. And then because I saw it happen in 6 minutes, and I was like, okay,
Right.
if you get 100 into 300 in 6 minutes, add zeros to that, we're Gucci. And that's what began to happen as time went on, that particular bull run. So then I'm in a Telegram group. I'm learning about meme coins. I'm starting to make a little bit of money. It's incidental. I'm not even great at it, but we're making bread. It's the end of a bull run, right? Everyone's cooking no matter what. Everyone thinks they're a genius. And so I'm in these groups. I'm learning from people. I'm on YouTube. I still haven't created content yet, but that's how my meme coin journey began. A desperation and a necessity to make money, to literally pay bills because I'm struggling financially.
Yeah, that's pretty much same way I got into crypto, but it was like at the time it was 2017, and I did it with the altcoins, and I put my last like $27 into an ICO, and it did like a 100x, and I was like, oh, I just turned 20 something dollars into $500. Like, I was hooked. I was like, now I gotta dive in deep. And I had a coworker who came to work every day, like similar to your homie, who was like, oh, flat earther or whatever. Like, oh, did you hear about the Illuminati? Did you hear about that? Did you know Bitcoin's at? He was like, Bitcoin's at 600, Bitcoin's at 1500, Bitcoin's at 3000. When Bitcoin got to 3000, I was like, okay, I need to pay attention. I need to do some research. And I did some research, and they were talking about distributed ledgers and all, mining. And I was like, I faded it. And then, but I ended up getting in after. So once you did all that, you got into crypto. What was like your moment? When did you feel like, okay, this is it? Like, I made it, or I feel like I could make it, or I just know like, okay, because you're trying to do it to make money at first, but when or what token was it, or what was the scenario that happened that was like, okay, now I'm good, like I'm happy?
Yeah, my life changed September 28th, 2021. So the timeline of the story is spring of 21, the SHIB happened, right? Then the summer of 21, I'm learning. I start to make a little bit of money, and it's enough to help me pay my bills. The fall of 21, so August till November of 21, it's euphoria. So everything is ripping and running. This is the first meme coin bull run. So like memes were a new thing, and we were just absolutely cooking. And September 28th, 2021, let me tell you what had happened for months leading up to that date. For months, so from like August until August and September, all those 2 months, my friends every day in Telegram were like, yo, you're a communicator, get on camera, create videos. And I'm like, come on, man. They're like, there's not enough crypto content creators, especially on meme coins. Like, you really should do this. And for years, I had run from the camera. In 2009, I made my first YouTube channel, and it really started popping off. And I had someone that I valued at that time tell me, like, don't do that. Like, I don't know what this YouTube thing is. Like, you just shouldn't do it. And I don't know why I listened to them, but I did. And I stayed away from it for decades, for over a decade. And then insecurities began to build as time went on. I had these crazy, really messed up teeth. I got braces on now, but these crazy messed up teeth, this wild chin, jaw, nose. And I was like, bro, I really I don't want to get on camera and deal with the onslaught of attacks that are most assuredly coming my way. So insecure about my looks. I weighed 125 pounds. Like, I just wasn't right. And so for years, I just ran from it with complete insecurity. And when these guys were talking to me, they're like, you're all this and that, like you could do it. And in my head, like, I'm like, yeah, bro, I am. Like, I know I'm a great communicator. I know I got to take what it takes. Like, but I don't want to be on camera because like I'm extremely insecure about the way I look. And they just broke me down. After months of encouragement, they just straight up broke me down. I was like, you know what? I'm going to do it one time. Just get these guys off my back, see what happens. Made a video. It had like 40 views. But I went back in the Telegram group, and the guys were like, you're the best. You got this, dog. Like, you're the one. Keep making these videos. Don't ever stop. And I was like, you know what? I think you're right, dog. I think you're right. Like, let's do this. And I just kept making videos. These people were so encouraging. And then a week later, my mentor at the time, Holistic Crypto, the leader of the TG group, looked at me and said, hey, man, start making videos for Saitama. Create meme coin content. One, you're invested. Like, I invested months prior to. It's the fastest growing meme coin in the space at that time after Doge and SHIB. And they were like, just start creating it. Watch what happens. I was like, all right. So I did. And my numbers quadrupled instantly. A week after that, the developers and the team reached out to me and said, yo, if you keep creating viral, great content on behalf of our project, we're going to continue to platform you in our community. And like, I'm not kidding, like tens of thousands of followers began to pile on. And I knew really early on, probably 2 weeks in, that, okay, this is going to become something. I've always envisioned this for over a decade, that I'd be a content creator. I'm going to find a way to monetize this. And that's when it got really serious for me. So this is September 28th. So now October 4th. I just started going viral. And by the end of that year, I'd had 50,000 followers in just a matter of months. It's euphoria. I'd helped make, like, we went from like 0 to 7 billion on that meme coin, and which had never been heard of or seen at that time outside of SHIB and Doge. So the context, like 7 billion today carries a lot of weight. Imagine when there's only one meme coin per day launching. You were there for that. So like back then that was really crazy. And so, and I happened to be one of the faces of that project. There's still videos circulating till this day from that era. And so, once the following grew, I had a business person approach me at an in-person event, which is why I'm such an advocate of in-person events. And you know, he was like, "Hey man, like, you know, great to meet you, Henok." And at this point, I'd kind of been desensitized to like all these people that I'm meeting. And he was like, you know, whatever, let's take a picture. At the end of it, he goes, "Hey man, I'm in Dallas just like you. We should meet up and talk business." I was like, "Okay, whatever." He handed me his card, and it's so crazy. I looked at his card. I saw what industry he was a part of, and I turned my black butt around and I said, "Hey, my name is actual Doc's name." And professional Henok came on.
Right.
45 days later, I signed a contract. We did a deal, launched the Henok Crypto Corporation, and it was life-changing numbers, and I mean that. By January 2022, I quit my job, live streamed that on YouTube, still out there till this day. Live streamed myself quitting my job, trying to call my boss, you know, all that is crazy. And you know, went to the office with the employees, launched the $100 million Henok Crypto $100 million challenge, which a lot of people today don't know about this. This is like meme coin lore. Unless you were there back then, you really don't know about this because it's been years. But yeah, I took $1 million USD out of a bank account, put it in a public wallet, began to trade it, and I really went viral. Like, we went from 1 million to 3 million in that value on that wallet over the course of just a couple of months. Hollywood's reaching out. You know, Damon John from Shark Tank is reaching out. I flew down to Miami to meet him. I'm in Hollywood. I'm at the Super Bowl week, going to all these events. Snoop Dogg, Ezekiel Elliott, like all. It was so mind-boggling. You gotta understand, like, I'm the 120-pound nerd, ugly little dorky dweeb who came from absolutely nothing. And like, I'm living this crazy life online in my dreams, right? And I'm at the top of the world. It's Q1 2022. Your boy is cooking, can't be stopped. Got these employees. We're out here traveling, blah, 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 right? Then I ran into the buzzsaw of the bear market. And I had no clue what a bear market was. I didn't know we had markets. I thought it just went up.
You didn't know we had cycles.
So I'm like, yo, you know, this wallet's gonna be 100 mil by September, like, surely. And oh my God, that was the darkest period of my life at that point. And it gets worse from there. But if you're asking the question, like, when did this get serious for you? It got serious Q4 2021.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. I love the whole feelings and emotional roller coasters that you went through, and meeting all these, you know, famous celebrities and being in Hollywood and all that fun stuff. I can definitely say I know what you're talking about, because I've been there, done that, outside of crypto, quite honestly. But you know, with you being at the beginning of when meme coins were popping, and everybody, you know, everybody's doing good, everyone's making money in meme coins. Meme coins nowadays are looked at a little bit different, and there is a website called pump.fun that was launched. What do you think about that website? Do you think it's good for meme coins? Do you think that it ruined meme coin world? So what are your thoughts about that right now?
I love Pump.Fun. I'm so grateful and thankful for the evolution of memes. When I first got started, it cost you like 6 figures and all this stuff to launch a meme coin, right? And so there was only a few a day launching during euphoria. Obviously, I ran into the buzzsaw of the bear, but we never stopped memeing, even during the bear. Like, I have distinct memories of November 2022. And if you're around, you know what I'm about to, you know where I'm going with this, right? Like, SBF is getting arrested, FTX is going down, CZ is getting indicted, and someone launched SBF token. It's like 18 influencers all working together to try to push this to 100K market cap. And we just can't, because we ain't got no money, right? Like, I'm learning the hard way, like, what the bear market is, how cycles work, how to trade, how to invest, how to take profit, because I didn't do any of that, you know, the prior year and a half. And round trip lost dumb, life-changing money, really. It was so embarrassing and so just horrendous. I had to fire employees, get rid of my office. So that particular time forced me to look at myself and go, where did you go wrong? How in the world did you go from being on top of the entire planet in crypto to you're literally just a matter of months away from insolvency. So that was September 2022, November 2022. And then it isn't until June 2023 when everything begins to turn around. I'm still a believer in memes. We're still trading memes. Pepe happened actually April of 2023, the first sign of life since 2021. And so we ran that up. Like I got in day 4. I got a YouTube video on that. Like, you know, got in day 1, whatever. But I sold way too early because it was the first sign of life in a year and a half. Like, what do you want me to do? I'm almost broke. And then June of 2023 happens, and I'm 11 days away from bankruptcy. So at this point, I had burned 1.7 mil. So 1.7 was in a US bank account. That's now 0. I had round tripped millions of dollars just in my public wallet alone. That went to 0, almost 0, effectively, really. And I had no more money in my bank account. I had like a year and a half in reserves. I completely burned through it all. I had to fire all my employees, get rid of my office. It was so, and I did it all publicly. It is so embarrassing. Like, it was so just horrible to have to get up on camera and I committed to being on camera. I wasn't one of those guys that ran during the bear. I showed up every day, making videos, growing the account, like doing all that I could, making no money, burning through capital. It was so embarrassing and so difficult. The ridicule, the attacks, the onslaught, just on my money, let alone my looks, my parents. And it was all just so weighing down on me. And then June 2023 happens. I picked up the phone. I'm 11 days away from insolvency. I call another influencer and say, hey man, I am literally a week away from insolvency. I sold my home, invested all my assets, put everything into this thing, bro. I got nothing to show for it. And I literally don't know what to do. And bro, he just picked me up and said, hey man, let me teach you the business of crypto, because the fact that you have a massive account and don't know how to monetize is ridiculous. And he just pulled me to the side and began to teach me the business of meme coins, how to do it right. 4 days later, money hit my account and the rest is history. So the meme market began to shift once BlackRock said we're coming into crypto. We ran from summer of 2023 through the end of 2023. And then I noticed a shift, especially at the end of 2023. Up until that point, we'd had organic launches, not really much, just a ton of organic launches and organic memes. But I began to watch what I call the industrialization of meme coins, meaning there were teams beginning to operate with intentionality and strategy around how they led and launched and grew their meme coins, teams deploying millions of dollars to artificially pump their charts on their own, bundling supply, blah, blah, blah. And a lot of people kind of hate that. It's just the natural course of the growth of an industry. At some point, you go from incidental to intentional. And so that's exactly what began to happen. Pump.fun, to answer your question, is the continuance of the industrialization of an industry. This is my thesis. Meme coins are an industry within a fast-growing industry. And what you're going to continue to begin to watch and see happen is that industrialization. You're going to see software, technology, equipment. You're going to see businesses. You're going to see organization, strategy, genius behind the architecting and the growth of meme coins. So is is Pump Fun bad for the meme coin space? Time will tell. But at the end of the day, it's not, when I first came, I was like, I was that old man on the, get off my lawn. Like these, Pump Fun people, like, I can't believe back in my day, we spent $113,000 on Ethereum, to launch our meme coins. Nowadays, you guys spend blah, 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 blah. Like, bro, you're an old head. Like, adjust. And what I don't want to be is I don't want to be your grandma who saw AOL come on the scene and she's over here talking about letters and the telegraph and the fax machine. I don't want to be that guy. So for me, the way I look at Pump Fun is my thesis is correct. This is an industry within an industry. It's going to continue to grow and develop. They're going to continue building organization and architecting around this thing to proliferate and grow this space in this industry. That thesis hit me at the end of 23. I have been more than proven right since then. I believe that meme coins are the greatest innovation to crypto since the launch of Bitcoin. I am so bullish on meme coins. That's why 99% of my entire net worth is in meme coins. I believe in this thing. That's why I'm the host of the pod. Like, I believe in where this thing is headed. So everyone dogs on Pump.fun, but the gambling was here before Pump.fun. It'll be here after Pump.fun. You're not going to change human nature.
For sure. I always try to explain that to people. Like if we weren't gambling on meme coins, we're gambling on NFTs, we're gambling on altcoins, we're gambling on ICOs. It is what it is. There was always that gambling nature, or the word degen didn't come from meme coins. It came from DeFi. And it's so it just kind of carried away with the evolution of crypto. And then now we have, we got Pump.Fun, and we got all these other new AI agents launching super easy and all this type of stuff. So what's like, if somebody wants to get into memes like me right now, when you say you got 99% of your net worth in meme coins, like that sounds wild to me. My financial mentor will like give me a all you can to the throat, like but if you're doing that, I assume that like you have a strategy, and I always say like you can't really knock something if you don't really know the strategy. So like what is your strategy? Like what, as far as like, not like the full on strategy, but let's just say like you're looking for a coin, or you have a coin or something like that. Like how do we start like in meme coins,
Disclaimer: you don't start with 99% of your portfolio in anything.
Okay, I'm glad you said that.
Yeah, you're just like I'm
you're like, hey, I'm a special case. I know what I'm doing, but don't be like me. Okay, cool.
Yeah, not only am I a special case, I've lost a lot more than most people on this planet will ever make. Like I have paid a price to be here. I've done the math. Like it's over 12 or 13,000 hours invested, not in Bitcoin, not in altcoins, not in stocks, not in gold, not in commodities, not in oil and gas, not in business. I don't sit here and pretend like I'm good at business. I don't pretend that I'm good at anything, actually. The only thing I'm good at is high energy, dancing, and meme coins. That's it. Okay? So I'll see you on the dance floor, buddy. But outside of that, like you got me on everything else. And discipline. You're not going to beat me on discipline. But the biggest thing for me is like Warren Buffett teaches that risk is a function of what you don't know. Meaning he doesn't take risk because he's spent 60 years developing a skill set and a craft that allows him to make decisions that mitigate and reduce his risk substantially in orders of magnitude. So for me, I'm years into this space. I know everybody. Everybody knows me. I get alpha you'll never get. I get DMs you'll never get. I get access you'll never get. That's a part of the game. And so you better understand that if you're going to do the 99% meme coins thing, like you better make sure like you're not going to lose. And I have mitigated my risk. So that's number one. I always say that, like, don't do what I do unless you're in my position. And there's a few guys, there's hundreds of peoples that happen to be my positions, but it's not thousands of peoples that are on this, this deep into memes. That's number one. Number two, when it comes to meme coins, my strategy is actually remarkably simple. So it's actually doable. 95% of the success of meme coins has nothing to do with bundles, supply, the team, the chart, the TA. What else do they say? The memetics, the actual meme. What else do they talk about? All that. Is
it cute? Stuff. Is it funny? Is it relevant? Yeah.
Ain't none of that. 95% of this game is Bitcoin. Oh, they don't like this. They don't like this. They don't like this.
Oh, there's so
What do I say? What do I always say? I'm always telling them, hey, we got to look at this Bitcoin chart. And I know sometimes it might just get boring and shit, but hey, you got to start with the big dog.
I'll tell you why. And I'll say it the way that my Bitcoin maxi friends say it. Bitcoin is your daddy. Bitcoin is your daddy. So June of 2023, up until that point, apart from Pepe, we had seen nothing move in the meme coin market since the end of 2021. Why? Because we were in a bear market. Simple as this. If we are in a bullish climate, memes run up. If we are in a bearish context, memes do not run up. And you could have the perfect dev team, liquidity, millions of dollars in marketing. And I found this out in 2022, by the way. I saw the perfect dev team, the perfect name, millions of dollars in liquidity. They had everything on the chart, but we were heading into bear. So it doesn't matter. The inverse is also true. This is so profound, and I learned this the hard way. The inverse is also true. So in 2021, Saitama popped off. Horrendous dev team. They end up getting indicted by the SEC, suicides, drugs, like messing around with girls inside the project. Like, it was nasty. They're going to make a documentary on those guys. They extracted $400 million out of our pockets as a community illegally, okay? Horrendous dev team. Bad marketing. Terrible, like everything was done completely wrong. We ran to 7 billion. Why? Not because they were good, not because they were geniuses. Market conditions. So meme coiners don't like this. They don't want to hear this. They don't want to admit this, but it is a reality, and you can sit here and fight the ocean and drown. But here's the God honest truth. 95% of this game is the context, which, by the way, that's why none of your teams are doing anything over the last 3 or 4 months at the time of this recording. It's April 2025. Right? Mm-hmm. But at the end of last year, we were cooking. Why? Yeah. They cut rates. We went from 50K Bitcoin to 100K Bitcoin. So in that climate, all the memes go up. All the memes run. So 95% of this game is the context. If the seed lands on good soil and water hits that seed, it's going to blow up. You could have perfect seed, perfect water, the right farmer, looking like Stacy. But it don't matter if that seed lands on concrete, my guy. You are going to absolute zero. Bitcoin is your daddy. So my strategy is very simple. I am most active during good times. I'm going to deploy capital for good times. I'm not going to now during bad times. It's a great time to DCA, invest in undervalued memes. You cannot expect your memes to run when Bitcoin is going down. So strategy number one is, and this sounds so nuts, get good at macro, and I'm not, or get really close to people that are good at macro. I'm good at that. I'm good at friendships. And I got good macro friends. I got quants. I got TA guys and no, just all guys. I got nerds. I got, wizards, gigabrains. I got energy, bro, but I ain't got all those IQs. I'm going to leave that to them. So 95% of my game is understanding the context of where Bitcoin is headed and where the market is moving overall. 5%, the rest of my strategy when it comes to the scope of the project is very simple. Who are the people involved? So here's my criteria. Who's the team? What projects have they been a part of? Have you had any success before? I love teams that have failed on projects in the past. I love those teams. Why? Because no good dev team can ever launch a great meme coin on their first try. There's a price that has to be paid. And I don't want you paying that price with my money on my time. What team have you been a part of? What products have you been connected to? Have you ever seen success in this space before? Who are your front-facing people? Who are your influencers? Who are your people who are sending out tweets? Are these quality people? Tier ones only mess with tier ones in this space. If you're in the game long enough, you know this. Tier ones only mess with tier ones. Tier one devs, tier one projects, tier one influencers. So I'm always on the hunt for, okay, when did the tier ones begin to move? Once I see y'all moving, because they move as a cartel. Once I began to see the, this is a tier one tweeter, this is a tier one influencer, this is a tier one team, tier one market maker, tier one, exchanges, blah, blah. If I see tier one across the board, I know that I've got alpha. So the whole game for me is who are the people involved? The quality of people determines the quality of the project.
Absolutely. So it's funny that you literally just have a completely different view than a lot of people, because like you just said, a lot of meme coin devs or anybody who's a meme coins will say, oh no, the whole thing it's regarding it to hype and this, and I absolutely agree, because personally, I've done marketing in regarding meme coins, but it definitely has to do again with the soil that you have that is currently being watered. So essentially Bitcoin is your daddy at the end of the day, right? So with that being said, in regarding to your whole meme coin strategy, not only just understanding the market and where Bitcoin is going, what are some tools, what are some things that websites, programs that you use when you're trading meme coins?
I don't. So this is where I'm very unique as well. And I understand that I'm in a very privileged position because of the relationships I've built, the status, the access that I get, the DMs, the conversations. I'm in a very, I understand that. I don't use any of it. I've got friends that do, but I don't. I literally, all of my alpha comes through my cell phone. All of my alpha comes through my DMs. All of my alpha comes through tweets that I see from Stecky, from Your Pop, from Pinky, from Lofo. I've got a Coco. I've got a crew of people that have proven themselves both on the timeline and in my personal life, in real life, because I've done a lot of in real life events. And I just know who's alpha and who's not. And as long as I add value to people of alpha, and as long as I stay connected to people of alpha, somehow, some way, it has always benefited in my direction. This entire game, crypto and meme coins in particular, at this point in the industrialization of this space, is exclusively word of mouth. It is all person to person, network to network, which means relationship to relationship. So if you can like really understand and internalize what I'm saying, this is gonna like change your life. If you can get great, not at TA necessarily, or all these other skill sets that all these other people are great at, but if all you're good at is building people up and building relationships, you will be amazed. Like, okay, I'll give you an example, because a lot of people know I've been a part of a lot of the some major projects, like Pepe. Day 4. How is that possible? How in the world did I get in at a $22 million market cap? You know why? Because I've got a friend named Your Pop, and I happen to make him laugh, and he just likes me. He loves me, and we're friends. And he sent me a text and said, "Hey man, yo, get in this project." Okay, and now we're here, right? Let's do another one. XR. Okay, HPOP 8i. So this is August of 2023 in the bear. Like the meme machine just got turned on a month ago. Like we're starting to look for memes. Like we're actually starting to see some movement here. We got in at 50K market cap, and I'm texting Stecky, I'm texting Your Pop, and we ran that thing up to $130 million market cap. I think it's like a 3,000x. How is that possible? Only because of our relationships. You're not getting in that early unless you have alpha, unless you have a connection to a person, and you got to add value to that person or do something positive in their life long before they ever do anything positive in your life. Myro. So this is November 2023. Myro, we got in at 16 mil. It ran up to like hundreds of millions. How is that possible? Pal AI, top 25 AI token. This is back in 2023. And like, dude, we got in at pre-sale. How? Because we knew a guy. Okay, let's keep going. Punky. I was a day one Punky holder. How? Because all my friends are influencers and they all got in super early and they're like, yo, come along for the ride. Because I just happen to be cool with them. I can keep going. Brett. How in the world did I get in at Brett at 30 million? How in the world did I get in on day 4 post-launch before we ran up to 2.3 billion? Because I was connected to an individual who happened to love the work that I'd done, me, Your Papa Stecky, with another project. And they were like, yo, you do quality work. You're a positive person. You're not out here destroying people's lives. You know, this is a great project. You believe it. We can run. You want to get in or not? Right? And like the rest is history. I can keep going. Pepe, Pepe. I got a list of all these tokens that I've been a part of. Axel, Love. I can go down the list like up until today. But the point is on the other side of all my like, and this is what I love about my story. I am not a wizard. I'm not a TA guy. I'm not a genius. I don't have the highest IQ, and I don't ever pretend to be either. That's the difference. I am good at one thing. I can make you smile. I can bring some happiness into your life. And in this space, that just happens to be enough, and that's my edge.
Nice. So you're saying, so if I was like starting, like if you had to go back and start over with $100 and just start from the top, your first thing would be start building those relationships.
Add value. Find your way to add value. So for me, getting on camera, creating content was a great way to get in front of thousands of people and make them smile and laugh. I would do these crazy videos. I'd run around screaming. It was so dumb, but I did it on behalf of Saitama and a bunch of other projects, and the charts would pump for whatever reason. We are the dumbest space in all the spaces, right? It just works. So like if I had to go back and do it all again, create content, someone might look at me and go, bruh, I ain't getting on camera. Okay, fine. Right. Don't do that. Find another way to add value. You know, push a project. Can you bulk post? Can you create content? Can you create videos? Oh, you can't? Okay, go to ChatGPT because your AI will do it for you. Like, find a way to add value. Find a way to put a smile on people's faces and pump their bags and push their projects and put money on the table for them. Raid and TG. I don't know. Show up every day. Do spaces. Do something. Add value. Create content. Don't create content. Be a TA guy. I don't care. You got to find your niche. Whatever you're passionate about, whatever you're good at, use that and bring it into your projects and help that chart go up. Help your friends make money in this space. And if you can find a way to make people happy or make the money, and usually making the money makes them happy, you will always have friends in this space. And if you're good to them and you're consistent and you're disciplined, you give this thing years, that alpha will always rebound to you. And I'm not unique, by the way. This isn't like, only Henok has. Bro, this is how the entire space operates.
Yeah. No, really, it really is how the whole entire space operates. Like, and I tell people, they're like, oh, I don't want to get on camera. Get on spaces. All you got to do is just talk, get on spaces, make some people laugh, start a conversation. And there's literally a conversation for whatever the hell you want to talk about. Just like get out there and start doing alpha on that. So you said Saitama, that was probably your craziest play. I remember that token from back in the day. But
I'm trying to think. So that was the one that put me on the map in terms of content, in terms of actual investment. I mean, geez. Here's the problem with like investments. I've been through all the eras of memes, right? So like Saitama was the 2021 runner, right? But then like 2022, absolutely nothing ran. 2023, day 4 Pepe, right? I just went down the list of the projects: HPOP 8i, XRP Pepe 2.0. We saw HPOS run, we saw Myro run, we saw Ponke run at the end of that year, and then last year, right, 2024, and because a lot of you guys weren't here for 2023. But then 2024, right, Brett, Red Chinese Pepe, Lofi, Axel. I go down the list of all these products that I've been a part of, and so it's just like, and we had a huge chop during the summer. So like every single cycle or iteration of our pumps, whether it's the Solana run, the SWE run, ETH memes, I've had the fortunate opportunity of being, either on the front end or connected to a number. I'm not saying all of them or the majority of them, but enough, like a number of projects that have done really well. That's why my following has grown. And so people perceive me as a person of alpha, and I really appreciate that. But what I like to highlight is all the people around me. So y'all see this like dude right here, but like you don't see all the hundreds of individuals that are invisibly surrounding me through conversations, meetings, DMs that are feeding me everything I need to get it out there to the public and actually create wins on behalf of thousands of people. So, yeah, I've been a part of a lot of runners.
That's awesome because personally, I'm also pro networking and having the right people around you. And if me personally, like again, like how I got into crypto is by a mutual friend, Lofo, and then he put me together with all these other people, and this is how you're here today. It really is truly all about relationships. So with you being all pro relationship, I'm sure that you have met some crazy people in crypto and some people that you absolutely value. So what are some crypto influencers or some people that you know that are absolutely you should follow, you should definitely go and look at, and some of them that you should avoid?
You should definitely be following Jay and Stacy Serrano. Let's just start there.
Let's get it.
Let's get it right. Let's get that right first. Okay, that's number one. Number two, I have so many, and I'm gonna miss names, and they're gonna kill me for not getting it right. So here's what I'll do: follow your boy Henok, completely shameless plug. Follow me and go to my timeline and look at who I retweet, look at who I engage with, and you'll see a lot of people that I absolutely love, revere, respect, and stay connected to because they are complete alpha. So I don't want to get the list; it's a very long list. I mean, it's got to be close to 100 at this point. Years of doing this. So
Well, let's try. I mean, I want to just if you can give us maybe the top three.
Okay, I won't do top three, but
Damn, now you're making him do a top three. Now he's really gonna get. So I can't even be a top three.
Yeah.
I'm not doing that. Please, everybody's listening right now.
That's the only reason why MySpace ain't here anymore.
Oh, please,
because we try to rank our friends
right now, and you know that you're friends with him, and he doesn't mention your name. Please stop being butthurt. He's talking about the people that are probably behind him that really support him the most and that you're probably talking to on a daily basis. And I'm sure there's definitely hundreds of people that you talk to on a daily basis and do business with. But there's got to be that small group of, even if it's one.
Okay, let's do it like this. Think about the audience. Let's do it like this. Think about the watchers and the viewers. Give them like 3 people maybe they should follow for maybe alpha, maybe tips, tricks, what motivate. Let's do it like that. So that way we're not
I'm just gonna give a bunch of names. I'm gonna forget many, and don't be sensitive. So your pop, so at your pop 8. Make sure you follow him, Stecky. So at Stecky Stex, and you can go to my timeline and find me retweeting all these individuals at least once a week. You need to follow them. Follow my boy Jules in DeFi, and Soka Data, particularly for spaces. And also pay attention to who they retweet. Like they retweet a lot of quants. Oh, let me give you all my quants list. My boy Guardian, I retweet him. You'll see him on my timeline. My boy Landy, you'll see him on my timeline. Who else? Those are a couple of my quants. Follow David Goxstein. We do a morning spaces show every day, and David is great. I love David. He's incredible. He also brings on a ton of people who have experience in different sectors of the meme economy. And you should definitely be, paying attention to that and seeing who he brings up there. My boy Zeep. Oh, you know what? Let me make this easy on y'all too. Go to my podcast. So the Meme Coin podcast, I interview some of my favorite people that I've made money with, I've like cooked with, like people that I love in this space who add value. So if you follow the Meme Coin podcast, you're going to see a list of guests, individuals that you should be following. I had a Meme Coin billionaire come on 2 episodes ago, but I've got trenchers as well. And I said Meme Coin billionaire, he isn't Bravo. I've got trenchers on there, right? Entrepreneur guy, Zeep, your pop, Stecky as well. And guys that literally find 3,000 X's every month, 200 X's every month, like 100 X's every month, like 40,000 X's once a quarter. Yeah. These are guys that get in sub 1 mil, sub 5 mil. And it's a lot of fun. So yeah, check out my podcast for a list of guests. Check out my timeline for people that I retweet. Pinky, Coco.
Yeah. I don't so what are some things you look for like to avoid? Like let's like what do you avoid when you're on CT? CT is all over the place. We got a crazy culture over there. You got Bitcoin maxis, you got meme coins, you got people who always want altcoins to win. You got XRP Army, Link Marines, you name it. There's crazy stuff going on over there. So what are some things you like avoid when you're like looking for stuff on the timeline, like or you're a little different. Let me ask you a little bit different because you're I think I've been in your position before. It's a unique position to where like you don't really go to the timeline for alpha. Like people are sending you alpha and you have to sort through 1,000 tickers and figure out who you think is right. So like when you do that, I know it's like you're kind of just looking at nope, 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 nope. Okay, that's a good one. So what do you avoid when you're, just doing your day-to-day crypto thing?
So the number one thing that I avoid is negativity. So there are an abundance of critics, negative people, naysayers, haters, people who just haven't made money. Like it's always a
I
function
always say
of money
that.
every single time. There's not been one time in my years of doing this, seeing thousands of people's come and go. It's always a function of you don't have enough money, because all the guys that are rich and all the gals that are cooking in this space, they're so wealthy and they're doing so well, and they don't focus on the criticism, the negativity. So the number one thing you can do is avoid toxic people, avoid negative people, negative spaces, negative content. You
Yeah.
have no idea how much money you are costing yourself by engaging, following, or paying attention to those people. Avoid my boy Lofo. Okay, avoid Lofo. I'm just kidding. I love you, Lofo. I love you, Lofo. You should definitely go follow him.
Oh, Lofo, you got your attention. Lofo loves being the center of attention. So here it is, Lofo. We're making a whole stream just about you, Lofo. But I love him. I love him so much. But these are great things to honestly avoid, because I agree. I'm so sick of the negativity and CT, especially right now, because people are losing money and the market's not the best. I'm definitely always trying to be around the positive people and who are going to uplift me and whatever I'm doing. So right now, where you currently are in CT and in your career in crypto, what would you tell yourself, and what are you going to be working on within the next 5 years that you currently are sitting right now in your mindset to become even better than where you are right now?
Yeah, I would say the number one thing is, if I could go back and do it all again, because I've round tripped, like, I don't even want to tell you the numbers on Kenyan. It's so like, it's lottery numbers. It's insane.
Uh-huh.
But the biggest thing, and it's because I didn't know macro. I never valued macro until like 6 months ago. So if I could go back, I would do much better at understanding macro concepts like bull runs, bear markets, bear traps, bull traps, TA, fundamentals, understanding like a more, like, I was so locked in on projects and looking at like doing analysis within the scope of the project, but never checking out the context of the project and the context of overall markets. I would have sold. I didn't. I wouldn't have round tripped so many millions. Like, I would
Right.
have. But if you don't know macro, you don't know where things are headed over the next 3 to 4, 5, 6 months, or you don't at least have probabilities around that, then you're literally just groping in the dark, hoping that your meme coin goes up. How insane is that? You're hoping. You're literally, your strategy is wishing. It's throwing a penny into the fountain. That's crazy. That was me.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. I love it. Love it so much. Honestly, I'm just so amazed by you and your story and everything that you have brought up into the space. Because right now, me personally, growing my own brand and growing in CT, because I've always been behind the scenes. And again, I've been with Lofo forever. Again, Lofo, here's your attention that you want. you know, I'm always wanting to understand, why is it that certain people feel like they need to completely dismiss the work that some people have done and constantly shit on you, or essentially, calling you a scammer, or say that you were part of this team, or you dumped on people, or whatever it is. So what do you have to say for the people that are constantly, I'm sure you get a lot of hate on a daily basis, what do you have to say to those people, and how do you avoid that, and how do you help yourself throughout that process?
Thank you. Like, that's the first thing I always say to every critic, hater, negative person. Like, thank you. Like, you got my name in your mouth. Really? Thank you. Yo, like, I need every person on this planet talking about me. I watched Trump. So I grew up in the Trump era over the last decade, like many of you did. And like, watching this man, like, oh, you can get ahead in the world. Like he has an incredible quote that I put on my timeline regularly. He said, good publicity. This is back in like the 80s when they used words like publicity. It's from his book, Art of the Deal. He said, good publicity is better than bad publicity, but both are incredible for your
both
brand
are
and
good,
making
yeah.
money. Yeah, both are incredible. So like, and watching him literally do that at the highest level taught me so much. Cause I used to be allergic to it. I used to hate it. And now I realize, like, no, bro, you want to be the main character. You want to be a villain. Don't commit crimes. Now, if you're committing crimes, like, you don't want that to happen to you. But when you're operating like me with transparency, like, study how no one's ever pulled out transactions. No one's ever had a screenshot. No one's ever had any proof around anything they ever say about me. So, and you don't ever have to, like, I'm doxxed. I'm in Dallas. Like, they know my name. Like, I'm really not hard to find. I've been here for years. I've had the SEC, be a part of a project that I was connected to, Saitama. They went through all my stuff. And, like, obviously I came out clean. Like, you don't have to worry about nothing whenever you're doing the right thing. So the reason why I say thank you to haters is because I know I'm clean. I'm good. I'm not worried about anything. I'm just thankful that you got my name in your mouth. Like, you're growing my account. You're giving me followers. Like, right. You understand that tier 1 dev teams want the main character in their project. You're literally helping me make money, but y'all don't know that. So this is a part of like what I do. This is actually a part of my strategy. I create tension and problems in crypto. Like, I did what I did a couple months ago. Like, I do things to like really drive people crazy because I need to. It's really good for business. Y'all have no idea how much money you made me. So the first thing I say is number one, just thank you. Number two, like, the first year when I did this, because I came up in the bear. So the first year was like, it was traumatizing. I didn't realize how much hate, and I didn't know why they were hating. I was such a good person. Like, I didn't do anything wrong. Like, but like, I didn't steal from you guys. Like, that was the devs. They took 400 mil. It's been proven in an SEC case. Like, it literally wasn't me, but they didn't find that out until later. But they don't know that in real time. You're dealing with poor people. Like, and this is like truly what I found out after digging around, talking to these people on the side. Dude, they have screenshots of their portfolio at 800K, 1.1 mil, 2.8, and they didn't touch any of it because you were running around on camera talking about how we're going to go to $1 trillion. So a part of it is my fault. Like, at the end of it, especially back then, not anymore today, but like back then, like, I wasn't selling, so I thought we were going to flip Bitcoin. So a part of it was my fault. These dumb blind sheep listened to me, someone who was 4 months new to crypto, and they round tripped and lost out on literal life-changing money that they will never see again for the rest of their life. They're so pathetic, they're so weak, and they're not capable of ever doing that again, of ever getting lucky again. They know it, and I know it. And so they're going to take the venom of their stupidity out upon the person that's front-facing. So it's just a part of the game. I know it. I didn't understand it at first. Like, when they were coming for my teeth, my chin, my jaw, my body, all this stuff, like, I was like, really? That's what we're doing out here? Then I started working out. I started changing my body. I got plastic surgery coming in a couple months. I'm gonna be gorgeous out here. Like, I'll take it all. I'll take it all. All of it from y'all. I'm taking all of it from y'all. Like, y'all caught me like after I made some money and after I made changes. So, like, you just take bullets out of their guns. You operate correctly. And you understand that, like, they're actually helping you make money by talking about you. So, yeah, I love it. I love the controversy. I love being the center of attention. It's so good for business. So it's fuel for me. People, like, it does ruin and hurt a lot of people in this space, but I have been here for years. It took me years to understand that. I've gone through a lot of therapy, and I know who I am. I know what I've done and not done. And that's the reason why it doesn't bother me. It's actually why it's a good thing. So,
yeah, which is pretty interesting because I had similar things happen to me just from coins that like went down, and people were like, "Oh, you're a scammer. Oh, you work with the team, or you're an insider." Blah blah, all this crazy stuff. So I've seen all that. So we're almost getting to the end of the stream. So before we get out here, there's a couple questions from the audience that I think are pretty interesting that I wanted to just ask you here about some meme coins. But the first one would be this one right here from the homie, shout out to My Crypto Space UK. He says, what's your view on Morad meme coin list, SPX 6900? I just want to ask you, like, what's your view on the Morad list in general? And then if you have any thoughts on that particular token, let us know.
It's an incredible marketing tool that he has created. Like, I did something very similar. Like, at that time, no one had ever, I don't think anyone has recently either. No one has ever taken $1 million out of a US bank account, put it into a wallet publicly, and began to trade. Like, no one had ever done that. And I don't think anyone's done it since. So, like, it's a really good marketing ploy to grow your account, grow your following, grow your business. So I'm looking at Murad, I'm like, bro, like, well done. Like, we're all sitting here talking about you, whether it's hating on you or loving you, like, we're talking about you. And that's the most important thing for making money in business. So yeah, I respect him and value the courage that it takes to do what he did. Dude, I'm so bullish on any community that shows up with force and high energy and positivity every single day, especially during downturns. that token is going to do numbers when liquidity comes pouring back in, on the other side of maybe some rate cuts and some money printers. We'll see what happens. But yeah, so I'm incredibly bullish on them simply because these guys are so consistent and disciplined and high energy. And I'm bullish on Murad because he knows how to capture attention.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I mean that's definitely one thing that he can do is capture some attention. And then another one that I want to bring up right here, and actually it's not really a question, but my homie Everything Alquist says, "Damn, I remember him from TikTok." So you were the TikTok guy? Tell us about it,
dude. I was the everything guy. Like people don't understand because they're catching me in 2025, but like this is back when like this was all new. Like crypto influencing was actually a new thing. There was only like 5 of us at this time. Yeah, I was going viral on TikTok. I did 1 billion views on YouTube, on TikTok. We did numbers like on Instagram, Twitter. Like a lot of people don't know any of that, but like, yeah, it's definitely part of my past, and I've gone through a lot of evolutions, and I'm gonna continue. Like, bro, I can't wait till I own these Dallas Cowboys. I can't wait to be, the 10th trillionaire in America. I can't wait until I become the president of the United States. Like, y'all are gonna catch this journey on 1,000 different little steps and micro steps all the way up and to the right. So, yeah, he caught me back then. Just wait, give me 10 more years, dog.
He's 10 more years. And then somebody said, make sure you interview him in 2030. Okay, you go come back to the channel 2030, when you're a trillionaire, we're going to interview on the channel again. You know what I'm saying?
No, for sure. But we're going to go ahead and start toning it down here and getting out of here. We know we wouldn't want to take too much of your time, but we do want to ask you, what are some things right now, again, that you're working on besides, of course, your meme coin podcast, which everybody should definitely go and check that out. I'm sure it's amazing. I'm sure he has some crazy people on there. But besides that, what are some things you're working on, some things you want to tell the audience about, and, maybe even some alpha?
The number one thing that I always work on is building great relationships with great people. When I see talent, when I see like okay, so I'm not the best, and I don't pretend to be. I'm not the best at finding the best meme coins really early, but I am the absolute best at seeing who's going to blow up and catching them early and being a part of their journey towards great heights. I have consistently done that in this space. And so I love finding great people and building that great relationship. It has always produced more money for me down the road. I add a lot of value to them and help them make more money as well. So like that's kind of my thing. So even now during this downturn, I'm paying very close attention. Who's consistent? Who's creating content? Who's providing value? Because I know you're not making money right now. Like I know nobody right now is cooking. Like it hurts right now. So the type of person that is consistent and disciplined, which is why I'm on this live stream, the type of person that is cooking and working in this environment during this downturn, that type of person flourishes when all that liquidity comes pouring back into meme coins. So I'm focused on building relationships right now.
Nice. Yeah, I would advise that for everybody to build relationships right now. And that's something that I seen, making content. I was making content in the bear market, and I ain't gonna lie, it was boring. I was getting burnt out. But then it was like I stopped for a little bit, and all that content that I made in the bear market just started getting, started coming in and, started paying off, and people started watching. Like for me, the best thing was people coming and saying, thank you. Thank you for talking about this. Thank you for talking about that. But, with that being said, we're going to go ahead and end it right there. Thank you for coming through to the stream, sharing your story with us. It was a good time. Definitely one time we'll have you back again, maybe with another guest, or if you want to come back again by yourself. Also, you guys check out the Meme Coin podcast. Like he said, he just started it. And make sure you go and subscribe to that on YouTube if you're into meme coins. He got some crazy people on there for sure. Like I checked it out. Meme coin billionaires on there telling their stories. People who don't want to be doxxed got to wear a mask. It's gonna be crazy. It's gonna be crazy over there. It's gonna be crazy. So make sure you guys go ahead and check that out. So
thank you so much.
Yeah. With that being said, you guys always remember, think positive. Positive things will happen. RIP. Never finish a negative statement about currency. Until next time, peace.